the politics of providing of compensation, providing job for the boys, is what is affecting us in this part of the world, and it will continue for divide. And mark you, when you talk about providing job, when you talk about job, person in job, what they do, you have to do with in livelihood. You have to do with waiting actually they make them be the kind of more time away be. When you take that away from that person, they, especially when you do it unfairly, either on tribal or regional grounds or political party grounds, you they make that person they get bitterness inside them. And what you get is a society that is disgruntled, and you continue to get dissent all across the board. And that is what we have in the country currently. That's one of the factors for the serious breakdown of cohesion in the country. When government take power, we see thousands of people who lost their jobs. Cleaners and system cleaners, they don't spare them. Even messengers, they don't spare in their offices. Simply because they get the perception that these are people who are either people who belong to the other political party, or these are people who don't share with views. The president traveling, as he give excuses, say they travel for go and make the image of the country out there. There is need for the president and this government to look into their activities at home. You know what they at home, the country will be viewed as a country where they respect the rights of people, they respect contracts. They can just wake up one morning, cancel contract, and then you say you travel go overseas for go actually clean the image of the country. These people when you go meet will not listen to you much as they listen to what they happen at the ground. Then they do them background check. No matter what you go and say out there that the country is good for investment, the country is, but you have a record following you at the back that you are a government that cancels contracts unduly, unprocedurally, that will not really respect procedures and what they call them. These are challenges. We don't make today. We have limited mining companies running. Even businesses, the way we already did, like the Sierra Leone bottle company, don't fold up because of, they say, taxes, they don't become so heavy on them. And whether they get the rippling effect of that, like the common man, the common consumer, we are me and you. And these are the things you don't make today. Even the bread and butter issues don't be difficult to address, because when that businessman not feel good, that businessman they pay hundreds of millions now the key for come in, whether they can pull on, now me and you they buy.
Okay.
I know make rice price don't go up, sugar price don't go up, even the diamonds price don't go up in the country.
Program na Good Morning Salon, where they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. Send me message on 077-981-981, or if you're watching our Facebook page, you can also drop your message or you comment on any of the issues them where we discuss na the program this Monday morning. Well, earlier from one power headline, they will tell us today na the program, when they look inside the team them where His Excellency the President Dr. Julius Maada Bio been talk inside a media rounds and town hall meeting where it be all last week. Well, if people can remember, inside last week, for the first time, Usai President Bio been go around different media hosts them. Usai, according to Ram, it be one for talk to salon people, but some of the things them where it don't do for the past 3 years where it don't be president na salon. After the media rounds here, the president be also hold a town hall meeting. Usai it be meet with few salon people them inside this town hall meeting, and it being same way so talk about the thing them way it don't do for the past 3 years. Well, for can look inside some of the things the way the president say it don't do, and some of the things them way it been promised for do. At the studio, I want to welcome Thomas Small Conte, the executive director for Citizens Advocacy Network. Good morning, Mr. Conte, and welcome to the program. Good morning, Salon.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
All right, as I stated earlier, inside last week, we've been see for the first time the president been go na different media houses them. Usai it been give account of his stewardship for the past 3 years, and later on it been hold a town hall meeting. Usai it meet with salon people them. Well, today, Naime could decide for being civil society for come look at the president in speech them way he be making in different town hall meeting. Yeah. As a civil society activist, what do you think of the decision first for let the president decide say la do media tour for talk to salon people?
Yeah, well, as a civil society activist, I feel say I'm impressed, and I feel say most Sierra Leoneans impressed with the move of the president for come out and talk to the people on in 3 years tenure in governance, and then for see how it will also subject himself to scrutiny, public scrutiny. That is, I feel say, a very best practice in democratic dispensations, and I feel say it is very laudable. And as a civil society activist, we want for continue for encourage the president or any president coming after him, or even public officials generally, for actually imbibe the culture of actually presenting themselves to the people where they serve. Mark you, these are servants to the people of the country, and that then get a duty for actually account for the stewardship from time to time. So that is very commendable. It's a breath of fresh air, I must say.
All right. The president not only come and talk to the people of Sierra Leone, as you say, give account of his stewardship, and most of the questions they've been centered around in manifesto promises them where it be make, and the key one them where the media been point and focus attention to. One being get for do the fight against corruption, when one of the highlights them that the presidency manifesto during the time with the campaign, and even he made a speech to Sierra Leone and them as a president. He emphasized on that. They even go further for declare war on corruption. But since he take up office for the past 3 years, from comments from the ordinary citizen them, they not to feel say the president don't they transform in words into action in the fight against corruption. And that's not be the question we come out now in media rounds where it do. From a civil society perspective, how you can assess the fight against corruption for the past 3 years and waiting President Bill say he do for the past 3 years for fight corruption.
Yeah, well, as you rightly say, one of the manifesto promises of the new direction government, President Bill actually promised this nation for 33 wars. He say one, the war against lawlessness, the war against poverty, and the war against corruption. And we see when he take over governance, steps where he take for actually ensure that he put in motion a manifesto promise for fight corruption. Firstly was to establish a government transition team where begin for look into the issues and activities of the past government, and we see them come out with this a report, though a contentious for the public domain, but I feel say that was one step he took for actually going to the fight against corruption, a promise. And then we see it was followed up by the establishment of a commissions of inquiry for actually inquire into the activities of the past administration. And we also see the work of the Anti-Corruption Commission was, of course, in full speed, wherein we see series of indictment, we see series of arrest, we see people who are invited to the ACC for actually answer to questions, allegations around corruption. Some get for sleep in a cell for quite some time. We see, of course, the public was being, of course, updated with the activities of the ACC from the outset. And we also see how the amendment of the ACC Act, way beyond the in motion, but not beyond complete, was actually put in, was completed by this current administration under the leadership of Francis Ben Kefala. These are all commendable steps. And we see how the country in ranking in the fight against corruption rise on account of the steps that they within the first 1 to 2 years of this government. We see how a lot of awards were won by government. We see the kind of accolades we get both nationally and internationally. People recognize the fight against corruption in the country because of the steps that they were and take. Because I must say, even as the president took corruption is a very serious canker worm. We don't eat into the fabrics of this nation for quite a long time. And even now, it's still there. So any effort for purge them out of the country very necessary. But as you rightly say, as time they go, the fight against corruption don't they get some kind of snail pace. and you don't get a U-turn in the way the fight against corruption they go. People believe now, in the public domain, that the fight against corruption was more active, was the enthusiasm and zest in fighting corruption, we involve the past government officials, was seen. But now we see a lot of drag foot, we see a lot of defenses, we see a lot of excuses in fighting corruption, especially when you have to do with high profile personalities within government. One case was, of course, the chief minister was firstly accused of $1 million corruption issue. We see how not the kind of seriousness for investigator was not taken. In fact, what happened was to have the person where they try for seek clarification on the matter locked up, intimidate him, the journalist started to Jan Jalo, and then it creates some kind of issues around the public. People immediately ask why. Is it because it is a government official that is involved now? And we also don't see situations where in about 50,000 metric tons of rice where the Chinese government gives to this country for help the free quality education school feeding program. Just lost, misappropriation according to allegations, and then officials within Ministry of Education and out of the Ministry of Education were of course called for questioning, and we see how the entire process just don't die and nothing not come out of them, which people they ask whether this will happen if not the past government officials are involved in them. And these are very serious issues where they eat into the credibility of the fight against corruption, which is much, much needed in this country.
So with the instances then the way you don't talk about and waiting we hear the president who talk now in town hall meeting and also the media rounds we do last week. Talking about corruption, the thing them where they happen at the country right now and waiting been day na the New Direction manifesto as to fighting corruption. The president in particular, where we look at the program this morning, it don't really do justice to the people of Salone for ensure say waiting it been promised na the manifesto we it can power with, then really do because taking into consideration waiting go talk na the town hall meeting we the moderator may first ask him if you go see the one them waiting in administration right now as Steve Manden taking into consideration the corrupt allegations them where don't come up. The president say you know they see them as Steve Manden, but if person the thief self now, you get for be cautious. Now these people of Salone they expect from the presidency at this time.
Yeah, well, firstly, the question of whether I don't actually honor in manifesto promise in fighting corruption, well, it's me go say no. I not see it until I begin see steps to be taken for let them begin indict, prosecute people within the current administration. We don't be corrupt. Then we will be very constrained for say here publicly that it don't really show commitment for fight corruption. Mark you, even NSSF be promised the country that when it take over governance, it will declare in assets.
We
say it will declare assets.
The allegation of the Chinese guys during the term for the first term Minister of Education, Basic and Senior Secondary Education, Mr. Timbo.
Yeah, well, that are the issues and we don't really eat. One of the issues that we don't eat into the credibility of the fight against corruption in the country currently.
How so?
Because this now one of the first cases who don't get involving high-profile government officials, ministers of the current government, deputy ministers, permanent secretaries, a lot of other people, parliamentarians involved in this wrestling issue. Not to small wrestlings, not to 40,000 bags, not to 4,000 bags of rice I talk about. Not to 40,000 bags of rice or 400 out. This now 50,000 metric tons of rice for help the entire country for able to make the free school feeding program for gone. People use them according to allegations. Whether they get girlfriend, whether they go to a constituency, go shape into a constituency, whether they sell and give people them. At one point in time, there is an allegation, in fact, of a lady who was caught changing the bags, the Chinese bags, the way the rest and carry it. Even as we speak today, Khadija and Mabel, my sisters, when I not able to tell me waiting at the status of that investigation. That is a serious dent to the fight against corruption. So, if President Bio, whilst we commend in step for go out for talk on the issues of corruption, for talk to people on in 3 years in governance, but we feel say the people of this country are very much apprehensive about the fight against corruption because of several reasons. In particular, promise this country that when it take over governance, it will declare an asset. And asset declaration is a very essential component of a democratic system of governance, for especially people who are governance.
But from us, with all them things here we don't highlight, we get for do with the Chinese guys, with all them things they are so you don't highlight, we for you now major evidence system for show say corruption really they happen under the Bio-led administration. According to President Bio Forum, feel say anybody they part of the administration we mix pan corruption. And even safe with the revelation from the Africanist press, we get enough evidence according to some people when they publish president say nothing like corruption they happen in administration. You want to believe the statement of His Excellency? Respectfully,
I want to disagree with that. You see, say the president run into self-refutation. That means at one point in time, he talk say he try for discredits which they come from the Africanist press or people where there is concern about corruption. But another point, he also agree say corruption in the country and that corruption still there, that they not for fight at it all. We deny the fact that people within the administration are corrupt. Waiting we be expect as civil society and as citizens of this country is for the president for actually encourage institutions like the Africanist press. As a president, we don't really show to the people of this country through manifesto that they will fight corruption. I feel say if we embrace institutions where they bring out some kind of how we call it whistleblowers, where they raise concerns about corruption under the administration. But again, sadly, in all of which we say, the president, his wife, the first lady, they are the center of all of the allegations they are so. Even the president himself, they are the center of all of the allegations they are so. So it makes the situation very dicey for a government that has actually promoted, that has actually trumpeted the fight against corruption. And for let you see the president will actually come out here and say, really, yes, Aki. So you see, say even reluctant for accept the fact say his wife could actually be corrupt. You can follow all the media programs that we do. Even at one point in time, like AYV, he attempt to make a categorical that his wife is not a corrupt person, that his wife can never steal anything. I feel say that was too, I don't know how to really put them. But I feel say what we expect from the president is to have a situation wherein if we left the platform, open up in wife, in entire cabinet, in self for investigation, especially when allegations of grave economic fraud don't be made against them, because these are things we just let we go under the carpet. If they are not prepared to address them under this current dispensation, then they will be addressed in the future. We will push for them to be addressed in the future. And that is why we feel say all of the issues they have to we would raise don't really cast some kind of dark cloud on the fight against corruption in the country. Not only we don't even recognize this, even the international community has recognized it. Here in your studio, the ambassador of USA, we just don't go, Maria Briwa, actually caution government for look into the current administration in the fight against corruption.
So as a nation, inside the past 3 years, we don't see the president no come on now. You're gonna different media houses for talk to people and master waiting in no say in administration don't they do so far. From the civil society angle, from all waiting the president saying and then different platform here so. Now waiting the country don't miss as to the fight against corruption. From all waiting is see. Waiting I don't not say the country really they miss the fight against corruption.
To be honest with you, when they take over with the kind of enthusiasm and zest we didn't show for go after corrupt people, especially people in the past administration, it was a very laudable one. We actually create some kind of, it actually attracts the even international community.
So what's go wrong now?
But when you say one thing, when you want for dispense justice, it should not be selective. When you begin to do it selectively, what you do is you run the risk of losing your credibility, public trust, and in fact, you will get tendency for face stiff resistance if you're not careful. Especially when you are living in a society that is now more enlightened, this technological age. Everybody can now read and write. People really get information at their palms. And then coming to the media and say my government is not corrupt, my people are this, or my wife is never corrupt, no even get my take penny, does not rule out the fact that there are issues of corruption that needs thorough investigations. And let me tell you this, every Sierra Leonean is watchful. Every Sierra Leonean is watchful. The issues of corruption are issues that will only affect this country for quite a very long time. The TRC make mention of the causes of the war. One of the causes is corruption, rampant corruption. It make this country degenerate into chaos, anarchy, and with ABN for 11 years. Time where other countries they go before. Waiting the causes. This country is blessed beyond measure. This country gets one of the best mineral resources you can think about in the world. We get the best climate. We get land, arable lands. We get all the resources you can think about in this country. The beaches, the hills, the mountains, fresh air. But we continue to live at the lower rungs of the Human Development Index. Corruption is one serious factor. And one thing we don't affect we consistently, and the fact that success, governments, authorities, politicians then go always trumpet the fight against corruption. But when they are actually affected by it, or when they are supposed to actually subject themselves to scrutiny or to investigations, that is where you see the fences they come up. So it is not new, I must say, but I want to say President Bio make a promise for fight corruption and let it allow the fight against corruption, no matter where it goes. If it was good to go against government officials of the past administration, if it was good to go against teachers who were paraded at Cotton Tree publicly, then there is no difference whatsoever if the First Lady or any minister has been accused of corruption. Why should we not see investigations going on and then the public is being briefed, thoroughly briefed on the progress of such investigations? Right. So we feel say there is serious cloud of doubt around the fight against corruption, and then there is need for it to be actually cleared.
All right, continue for day with me the program. In case you just tune in, the program where they listen, a good morning salon. 8 o'clock, now the time from studio clock, we'll get the executive director for the Citizens Advocacy Network, Thomas Mokonte, as today in the program with a analyze President Bio in talk them where it be make now in media rounds and serve the town hall meeting where it be all inside last week. We they take this short commercial break, we'll come back, we will continue for look at the difference in them where the president's been talk.
Yes, subscribe. You always dey watch we program them, but you not subscribe yet to the channel. All wetin you get for do, press this red subscribe button, and then you come over here and press this bell. To the bell option, press this one with all. It don't done. It no get for cost you anything. When you do this, na sign for show say you dey support we for make we do more. Thank you for we don help we for share this program. Yeah, God bless you.
All right, we continue with the program. Good morning, Salon, where they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. Where they bring the program come to you this Monday morning. My name is Khadija Bangura.
And Mabel Kaba.
We still get Thomas Mokonte with we in the studio, in the Executive Director for Citizens Advocacy Network. Today in the program, we they analyze some of the things the way President Bio talk now in media rounds and town hall meeting where it be all with salon people them inside last week. Mr. Conte, we don't start for talk about different in them where the president may make attempt for talk about say he do inside the past 3 years. We don't talk about the area of corruption. Now, let's take you back to President Bio in New Direction Manifesto, where he talk about for get rank to the audit service salon for ensure say transparency day on how they use salon money under different MDA where then they disburse corporate to. But from where the audit service salon pulled the 2019 and 2020 audit reports, we see outside the audit service, especially the Auditor General, it been come under serious pressure where the public self been get concerned, but we see outside different women them, but they throw their support behind the Auditor General. And one part in question they been come up during the town hall meeting. And the response from the president that where salon people they intimidate with nobody not being getting that kind of support. That kind of response there, you think say it be appropriate coming from the head of state?
Well, I feel say I watched the program, and at some point I take and say maybe president was just being humorous. Maybe he just be to make fun out of the entire process. But I feel say that was extensive, I must say, because firstly we need to establish a fact and draw a fine line of dichotomy between the two people we talk about. The Auditor General is a public official that is actually manning an institution that is statutorily established. The First Lady, now the President in WEF, we not they occupy any public office, but they enjoy the respect and every other thing really can with the President in office, the President in position. So you not get any official position in the country. Here is a lady who has been very diligent with her job, the Auditor General, from the past administration onto this administration. We see how this current government hail the Auditor General in reports them in the past administration and then even act on them seriously. You see how ACC was very quick to spring into action when Auditor General reporting came out. In fact, part of the resources where this government used for actually place allegations on different people in the past government come from the Auditor General in office. So to me, and I believe say a lot of other right-thinking members of society, a very much shocking, preposterous, and very out of place. Forget a situation wherein the Auditor General, this is now one of the first reports that we put under this administration. And these reports are very damning, I must say, which are over 400 billion loans cannot be accounted for by government officials under the government of President Bio. And then you see real-time audit of the coronavirus threats will go on, wherein millions and billions of loans cannot be accounted for. People, they give them money for buying motorcar, them SUV, they go buy different things them. They're supposed to buy them brand new, they buy them some kind of second-handed. You see, say even computers cannot be accounted for in this whole fight against corruption, in this whole fight against COVID-19. These are very serious issues for any administration that is actually willing and prepared to fight corruption. So for let we see in the midst of all of the NTI come out, the Auditor General should be celebrated. But we see the kind of vilification, molestation, attacks, trying to intimidate her by state institutions. They really send a message to win at this country, whether we are really serious about the fight against corruption. We just want to play politics with it. The fight against corruption, like many other fights in any country in developmental aspiration, should be devoid of politics. Because when you mix politics in the fight against corruption, I think they count any kind of results here.
Politics, the president may they play with that statement the way he make?
Well, the president maybe if he just want for downplay the seriousness of the issue we raised at the town hall, that the Auditor General has come under serious attacks since he began publish reports on this government in operations. But I feel say that was actually not in place. What I would expect the president to do is to reaffirm in commitment for protect state institutions, especially personnel that are doing their job, where actually they work towards achieving in aspirations. As a president, we don't promise this country for fight corruption and better the lives of the people of this country. But for say, when Enki attack me with, you feel say that okay. When Enki attack me, you feel say that okay. I feel say that was too below the belt. And in the future, I feel say public officials in such circumstances, especially that was highly viewed by both national and international audience. So very, very serious for them to look into them things.
And also, Thomas, the president make mention of, say, where you take up public office, you get for and be open for public scrutiny in a way, according to them, thinking that that's the Auditor General really they go through at this time. But also from the president in statements where he make, it seems for be a missed opportunity where the president for don't use for really tell Salone people and for say, may government ready for let people and scrutinize them in terms of accountability. So if for don't firstly frown at the issue of people and where they throw stones at the Auditor General because of waiting it they do. Can where you come out from when the Citizens Advocacy Network, on ourselves thinks in a missed opportunity where the president just don't slide so you're not able to respond to that question there?
Certainly. Now, a missed opportunity for the president for show in commitment, for protect the rights and dignities of people where they in government office, public offices, where they work diligently. Now, a missed opportunity. But waiting the president do, or the statement, the answer the president gave out there is like, it is normal for let them be attacked. But let me say this. Waiting they happen to the Auditor General, it's not public scrutiny, I must say. It is vilification, now attack. They try for undermine credibility. They try for intimidate them, so that continue for they do what they do, or maybe he just fed up and resign. And then maybe we'll get somebody we go to just scout all kinds of things and we not go there to the wishes and aspirations of the people. That is what we are seeing. And what we do at Citizens Advocacy Network, when we see them things here, we need to cancel our platform like this and begin ministry words. Or begin to cover. We dey say them as it is. We expect the highest office of the land for show commitment to people who are in office, especially working for and on behalf of the people of this country. Like the Auditor General. Apart from the fact that in our Auditor General, but this is one of the women in this country, we're not really ready for take office, public office, as strategic as that. Woman, in the way that they even give appointment, even President Bill has made mention of that. That you don't make appointment, attempt for appoint that woman in the government. Some they turn them down. Simply because of the series of attacks here so way that they receive from public officials, from even state institutions. We see parliament, they call the woman, they go try for go be the question and this, that. Patterns, they not even done they part of the structure of parliament, how they do them. We see all the things that happen. You see the undertone behind all the things that they. We expect such people to be protected. Women who occupy strategic positions in office, who are doing their bits, should be protected by the powers that be, especially from people who unreasonably want for actually carry with some kind of funny as we can say to them.
All right.
Please.
Continue for the way it's been at the studio. Thomas Mokonte, Executive Director for Citizens Advocacy Network. The program Good Morning Salone, they continue with a take commercial break and look at small issues.
All right, so they continue the program. We'll come back to that commercial break there. They continue with the program Good Morning Salone, and we still get Thomas Mokonte with me at the studio. Today at the program where they analyze President's Bureau, the thing that we talk during the media rounds we doing last week and save the town hall meeting. Mr. Thomas, let we come now and look at one major sector where now the economy where many people believe say are the big elephant in the room. And now one of the things then this way come out during the town hall meeting where they ask President Bill what he think about the economy, and according to him, he satisfied with the people the way he put before for champion this particular sector. And when you look at Osai President Bill take up inside 2018 the area of the exchange rate to now Osai the exchange rate day, you see say a huge gap there between there, and safe according to in the words them it take over a battered economy way from independence than they not ever happen. And it been promised Salone people and through in fiscal policies them where it put in place say they go come with a turnaround in the economy, especially in the area of the bread and butter. When you look waiting to happen from 2018 to now, you go see say change not happen in the economy and things them still they go up in prices and safe as I stated earlier the exchange rate. But according to the president, he's satisfied with the people and way he puts before. But then same people there, who don't they use owner civil society activists there lately, when they call on the president for change the finance minister. But according to the president, he's satisfied with them.
Yeah, well, the president satisfied with one way before the handling of the economy, but when President Bill take over governance, we see strategic steps we begin take for ensure that firstly, able for consolidate all revenue wey dey come from different agencies, ministries, parastatals into what he call a consolidated fund, a single treasury account. That was a very laudable venture. I mean, that was a very laudable strategy he actually implemented. And we also see he make steps for cuts down on tax exemptions there, where he say were too much in the past administration. So man just be the calamo, they just pass, they need pay tax for certain things where they carry that the country according to them. That was a laudable one. And we see how, on account of them steps they don't take, we begin get revenue generation where they go up, they go higher by the day, where then they even give records of that to the public domain. That was appreciable. But in the midst of that, you see, say, we dey generate the revenue more than how we dey generate them today. But in order to tell on the living conditions of the people, there are a lot of reasons responsible for that. One, when the government take over, then bloats the wage bill. When we say wage bill, now the people where they receive salary from the consolidated fund, all the one way they receive money from the government coffers, that particular what they call it was overburdened. You see, say thousands of people were added to the wage bill, offices were created, you see duplication of offices, you see excessive travelings abroad, all of the things like that carry a huge burden on the wage bill. We make even the revenue we generate, not able for actually feed the government in programs. And coupled with that, the free quality education as well, which was rolled out within that same year the way government came into power. And the free quality education, I must say, a cost-intensive project for provide free education, pay fees for each student at the country we ready for go school. You see, say, pikin we don't know they able go school before now, begin go school. You see, say the schools were actually jam-packed, classes flop, and all that they come from the consolidated fund. It raised a lot of problems. We not able forget the economy, the money where will be the raised from government, from the revenue generation them for going to different things there.
You make mention of the increase we can the wage bill, and I want the question in that way then be asked the president during the town hall meeting, and in response to that, been people they grumble say the wage bill don't increase, it don't be a burden to the nation, but according to your governance, they don't give work to more healthcare provider them. When I nurse them, they say they don't employ more of them. It's same way so say they don't increase the number of teachers them way been there before, and some of them see and a reason them where the president give as to why they don't add to the country in wage bill, and them money then they go directly to them people in the way for now then they help for build the nation. Some of them say where then they put the money for una na a misplace of priority.
Well, I feel say it was too early for the president actually able for implement all of the programs they will implement and increase on the workforce where it do. Cleopa able they will say cut you coat according to your size. You know go carry it all the family where they upline, carry it the one way they na the other suburb them for can they na your house where you run your house on a salary below $100, below $1 million loans. Then you go get over 50 people there waiting at your house. What it will lead to? It will lead to starvation. Some man will even go, some man will even get calls for even left the place or run away. And that's what we are experiencing now. So you think it's
going to be a rush for take some of them decisions?
Whilst we feel say it is necessary for actually employ more teachers, for employ more health workers, more police personnel, soldier man, what have you. But I feel say it could have been done in a very strategic way. And over and above the employment of them people in there, we see the duplication of offices. For instance, you get the Environmental Protection Agency. You get Ministry of Environment. Why not empower the Environmental Protection Agency with the resources necessary to able carry out all the functions the way you want to establish a Ministry of Environment for? You have the Ministry of Social and Welfare, you have gender and children's affairs. You see say duplications and they all over the place. Commissions are being established all in the name of creating job for the boys or having people in the different positions and so that we will pay them back. This politics of patronage or this politics of payback is what is actually affecting us, even the economy of the country. But over and above that, we get a country wherein we know they actually get the business community to thrive currently. Mark you, this is a country where after the elections, we get a lot of clashes, a lot of contracts we are cancelled. Example of SL Mining. And then, even as we speak today, they're still in a court for address the issues in there.
Mr. Conte,
With all of that kind of environment, Khadija, you scare away potential investors. We get the multilateral companies for coming to the country and invest because you don't create an environment for men and feel safe. That if they come, government change hand to mouth, they're not going to treat the kind and treat the others they already did. Let's agree. The president make excuses, the contract were actually dubious, what have you. But there are strategic ways to handle such a situation. We will make go out of hands to the point that in an international community court for look into them. Where they send a very bad image about the country. So over and above the president traveling as he give excuses, say they travel for go and make the image of the country out there. There is need for the president and this government for look into their activities at home. You know what then at home, the country will be viewed as a country where they respect the rights of people, they respect contracts. They can just wake up one morning, cancel contract, and then you say you travel go overseas for go actually clean the image of the country. These people when you go meet will not listen to you much as they listen to what they happen at the ground. Then they do them background check. No matter what you go and say out there, that the country is good for investment, the country is, but you have a record following you at the back. That you are a government that cancels contracts unduly, unprocedurally, that will not really respect procedures and what they call them. These are challenges. We don't make today, we have limited mining companies running. Even businesses, the way we already did, like the Sierra Leone Bottle Company, don't fold up because of, they say, taxes, they don't become so heavy on them. And whether they get the rippling effect of that, like the common man, the common consumer, we are me and you. And these are the things you don't make today. Even the bread and butter issues don't be difficult for address. Because when that businessman not feel good, that businessman they pay hundreds of millions now the key for coming. Whether they can pull up, now me and you they buy.
Okay.
I know make price don't go up, sugar price don't go up, even the diamonds price don't go up in the country.
All right.
And it affects we all as poor people.
Continue for the routine of the program, Thomas More Conte. We will come back to you as we continue for look at issues them we get for do with the economy.
Yes, subscribe. You always dey watch we program them, but you not subscribe yet to the channel. All wetin you get for do, press this red subscribe button, and then you come over here and press this bell. To the bell option, press this one with all. And done. And no get for cost you anything. When you do this, na sign for show say you dey support we for make we do more. Thank you for we don help we for share this program. Yeah, God bless you.
All right, we continue with the program. Good morning, Salon. We come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy, 98.1 FM. We still get Thomas More Content at the studio, in the executive director for the Citizens Advocacy Network. They look at President Bill in 3 years of leadership, as last week he been come out and do a media rounds and even conclude with a town hall meeting. So now the program today, we analyze some of the things them where the president's been talk. Thomas, earlier before we go for that break day, we talk about the economy and some of the things them where the president's been promised inside a manifesto, when at the New Direction manifesto. Then we look at the fiscal policy them where he promised he could can put in place for reduce the suffering from Salon people them as of that time the way he been say Salon people and the suffer where he take up governance. We see he puts together some fiscal policies them where it be start for implement through the Ministry of Finance. Then fiscal policies that the way the president been put together and they start for implement them. It all really reduce the suffering from Sierra Leoneans from USAI it been take up governance 2018 to now.
No, certainly no. And one thing we appreciate them for is the fact that NCSF acknowledge that get its solution to the problems of the economy of this country. Though he make mention of the fact that they are a work in progress. And I feel say 3 years into your administration, the living conditions of the people don't become poorer than it was before. If economic policies then sound, but they're not actually reflective of the living conditions of the people, they tell how Mami Fatu na Pujehun or Koribundo they eat within family, or how Park Banabum na Benembu they able to take care of himself, then such economic policies, I must say, questionable. And that's the situation we have currently in this country. I feel say as civil rights activists, we get a duty for bringing out the issues there. So we will never sit idle by and allow government to be complacent, or feel say people appreciate what they do in the midst of challenges we people face. I don't give reasons why I feel say even when sound economic policies then don't be established from the outset, but we get situations where in this country they even run cash trapped in the midst of festivities. You want to ask why we central bank lost money. Even the bank governor was here in your studio, he confessed say money not in the country. We money not there. In the midst of all the policies, it tells you that there is something fundamentally wrong. We need to check with spending power. High rate of increment in salaries of certain officials of government, continuous employment of people in offices, duplication of offices, high taxes on the business community, not the help. The environment has actually been created, don't be seen as a very volatile environment for credible investors for coming. I tell you, investors where they come with multilateral companies, where they come with machines, come establish them now for years. Not over 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, they come with kind of business in this kind of country. Yeah. If they get a situation where they get the slightest inkling that their business not too safe, not too guarantee, like a society like this, they know they come. And these are the businesses where they really give huge turnover to the government in revenue. Businesses like then African Minerals, so them be there. Them they help the past administration. We now they call Shandong Steel or so. The SL minings. These are when they pay taxes to government. They pay in millions, billions of dollars. Now you have limited businesses running with multilateral companies, all on account of, I must tell you, say the environment was very hostile from the outset of this government in coming into power. We are in series of attacks. Today they don't kill 50 people on a Palemba Road. Next day they don't kill 6 people in Makeni. Next moment they don't kill almost people in Atumbo. They don't hold this man, they don't go lock her up. People that they threaten for go bonso. Then go call this mining company, canceling license. That environment, they just sound like that man where they sell cookie. They allow all kind of fly in cookie area, picking the toilet so, piece the over so. Then they left the cookies area. They say they go for market in business on the other side. So going out of the country, traveling, bringing again a lot of economic burden on the country and resources, not the help. If you get all them baggage here, they follow you. People are when they Uber so they just start like where they are when they go, when they check before going to businesses. When you go, you get you summit with them, you go tell and say Salone is a very conducive environment. We are fighting corruption, it is corrupt free, this, that. As you left, sometimes as you talk to they Google, they type Sierra Leone. When they Google and type Sierra Leone, want to know human rights records. They want to know how the business environment today. They begin to see SL mining with Sierra Leone government in court for cancellation of businesses illegally. They begin to see 50 people killed today at Palemba Road prison. They begin to see parliamentarians, 10 parliamentarians have been removed from parliament and a speaker has been installed unconstitutionally. It has sent a message to the community where they out there way civilized. So that these people are not prepared.
From there,
so these are all things where they continue for hitui, where we need to see, and where they dent into the country in economic growth, then get strings attached. These are the intangible factors where we know they see. These are the things they know they see, where they affect the country in growth, the country in economic growth, and where we feel say they need for looking to.
Are they bringing out
Going
to
forward.
the issue of education when are this administration one panel flagship program them, the free quality education. Earlier we listened to a report. Usai, the Minister of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, states and clearly say them believe say at this point after 3 years they're already able to achieve, but 70% of the promise them would make now the free quality education. With that backdrop, yes, the number of picking them with the go school now don't increase, but I just want to draw your attention to one panel thing we come up now the president in discussion we get for do with the Limcoping students them because I they ask this question because one of the priority area gets for do with education, and you know one person will be the champion that cause and the president then be asking at the town hall meeting, but then students and they in question you be the champion that particular issue day. With the response where you get from the president, you really think, say, the administration they take the issue of land book business to that serious level, eh?
Yeah, well, for talk on education at the country, I feel say then on one side we will congratulate this government, firstly. For even, I believe say there is the will, this I must say, the will day from president and the government for ensure that they provide education, free education for Sierra Leonean students, picking them, even from all backgrounds. And we see when they come in, they put her into motion immediately. They don't waste time. That is, of course, very laudable, I must say. Though a lot of people, and they will talk again, it was too hasty. If we don't go gradually, because a lot of structures and they will be create, we then for actually try for Sierra, we look at the teachers and conditions. A lot of things they need for look at the curriculum. But I feel say the fact that they put out the manifesto and as they cancel, then push them immediately, tells you that there is a will for get that done. And we see how that they impact different lives than today on account of people who will not get the money for pay for them picking going to school today. You see the schools that don't been jam-packed. Though again, it gets a new downside because the teacher ratio don't become seriously affected. One class will get over 100 people in, one teacher they side. We don't tell one teacher in what they call for day between 30 picking them. All I need to affect again the quality aspect of it. But the initiative and the idea behind it is laudable. Coming to the Lincoln student the issue, this is an issue very dear to me because I don't dare at the heart of it. I don't go sleep myself for this issue. They don't prosecute me on this issue as well. They want to court discharge me. So I well abreast with the issue of the Lincoln student team. Lincoln now a private institution within over 200 countries in the world. I want to give a background people understand this because the president in the town hall where he gives special time to this Lincoln issue. And I feel say there are a lot of misconceptions around this Lincoln issue. Lincoln now an internationally recognized university. We're not only Sierra Leone, over 200 countries in the world. Sierra Leone gets calls for able to get agreement with Lincoln through the Ministry of Education at the time when I be Dr. Minka Luba Dede. When Lincoln ready for Canada this country, through the Ministry of Education, then we get for table the proposal of Lincoln in Kawan to cabinet. I'm very sorry that I can't answer. I not get them document today because when I be to do all my advocates around Lincoln I get all of them documents and the way they show all cabinets, even the president, the former president, in signature, endorsing the minister in proposal for bringing Lincoln to this country. Even the Attorney General, also give an advisory note on the coming of Lincoln. Lincoln eventually came to the country. I see one thing the president say was that he not be get cabinet approval. Well, the document told me get the show say president sign them and as a result of cabinet approval. And he also say parliament not go through parliament. One thing we need to know is Lincoln is a private institution, just like Unimark or IAMTech. IAMTech in Kawan the country not ever go through parliament too. Or Unimark never go through parliament. The only thing I feel say be require a policy for be sanctioned by government policy. Now the payment of the fees for the students of Lincoln. and which I believe say the Education Act of 2004, when I instill the govern the education system in this country. It has not been reviewed, even as we speak. Empower the Minister of Education for give scholarship to any student when is Sierra Leonean for the purpose of developing in human capital.
All right.
When a statutory document, let me tell you, the Act, the 2004 Act, is a statutory document where they govern the education sector. They already make such a provision. There is no need for going to Parliament for go seek Parliament approval for make you able to pay fees for students and Sierra Leonean students. All of these students we talk about are Sierra Leoneans. Parents where they pay taxes to this country.
All right.
So the fact of the matter is, yes, the argument that around say the money beaucoup, but that is where a compassionate, sensitive government will come in. Say, let we look at this issue because these are students where now we won't picking them, Sierra Leoneans, and what they do in fact really beat my imagination is that when governments come initially, this government then pay fees for this student because then see and say it was very necessary for pay the fees for the student, and then pay over $2 million into that administration for them student, according to the minister, according to the president. So you want to allow all of these resources so you don't spend. Some of them students here, so I tell you say most of the students here they final year, some they third year, they're at the threshold of already graduating.
Right.
You say you just want for make them just left them out like that, and because the agreement was not proper, that is why a government is in place to ensure that if the agreement was not proper, you look into it. But 2 years down the line, then Piki are still then on street, they move around like crazy people them. Some then now na quarry they broke stone. Some don't get belay. I really say 3 don't die on account of all the things they will be say for be avoided if they be really engaged. It is really a point for concern. The other day, the whole winner around that cotton tree beat them, kill them mercilessly because of them come out for just beg the president.
Continue for the program, Thomas.
These are very important issues.
We will come back to you. The program they continue. They take commercial break and look at small issues.
Yes, subscribe. You always the watch we program them, but you not subscribe yet to the channel. All waiting you get for do, press this red subscribe button, and then you come over here and press this bell. So the bell option, press this one with all. It don't done. It no get for cost you anything. When you do this, na sign for show say you the support we for make we do more. Thank you for we don't help we for share this program. Yeah, God bless you.
Program na Good Morning Salon, and we continue for look at the thing them way the president's been talk during the media rounds and in town hall meeting where it all last week for get account to Salon people, but waiting it don't do inside the past 3 years where it be president na Salon. Mr. Conte, we don't talk about several things them where His Excellency been talk about. Now let we look at the area of division where plenty people believe say they among Sierra Leonean them, and this division they talk about, most people they base on tribal lines, politics, and so many other things them. And we talk to other people that we na the same civil society activists like you, then go on for center and say all these starts according to waiting be happen immediately after the 2018 election during the transition period where some people lost work, some people them they get work. And during the presidency interviews them, that now be one question will be come up according to how it appoints people them based on tribes or based on party or based on other things them. And the president means they ain't go give work to somebody where it's comfortable for work with. That particular statement there, you think say it be enough for address the issue of division where people believe say they na the country?
Well, I must say that the country is highly polarized. By that I mean we get divisions around tribalism, regionalism, political party lines, even economic division. The gap between the haves and the have-nots is so great at the country. But this not today starts, I must say, but today it don't become more prominent than any other time in this country. You see, when governments change, there is always the belief that government will always come with their own set of people who don't have to work with. It happen all over the world, even at advanced democracies. When Donald Trump left, Joe Biden take over in America, Joe Biden come with ministers, get other people who are appointed in sensitive positions. But that not lead to any kind of couscous because of the manner in which it was. But the politics of winner takes it all. The politics of vilification, the politics of providing of compensation, providing job for the boys, is what is affecting us in this part of the world, and it will continue for divide. And mark you, when you talk about providing job, when you talk about job, person in job, what they do, you have to do it in livelihood. You have to do with waiting actually they make them be the kind of more time away be. When you take that away from that person, especially when you do it unfairly, either on tribal or regional grounds or political party grounds, you they make that person they get bitterness inside them. And what you get is a society that is disgruntled, and you continue to get dissent all across the board. And that is what we have in the country currently. That is one of the factors for the serious breakdown of cohesion in the country. When government take power, we see thousands of people all lost their jobs. Cleaners and system cleaners, they don't spare them. Even messengers, they don't spare in our offices. Simply because they get the perception that these are people who are either people who belong to the other political party, or these are people who not share with views. And sadly, these are things where President Bio actually talk against in part 5 of a manifesto. That the former government in pattern of appointment and dismissal of people from the public service, the civil service, and even universities and colleges was done around tribal, regional, and what have you. And that really affect the morale of the workforce greatly. Sadly, when this government come, we see that they to line people you see that they call and name them for certain statistics. We see hundreds of people lost their job one day. You go to office of the president and state house, of chief minister office, over 100 people lost their job one day. You go to different agencies, per state house, even as we speak now, people still continue for lost their jobs. Even when they have their jobs there, not get the kind of laxity for doing their job because people have eyes and day on them. So waiting that they create is a society that is not free, a society that will be seriously divided. And when that happens, even people will not be interested in politics now, they become very interested in politics. And most times when you sack them, people are so, they do them in line with the laws established by law. We see people where we get tenured offices, where by virtue of the positions they don't get, they should not be touched. People like the bank governor, people like the anti-corruption commissioner, you understand? And a host of other people where they pull at their offices, get tenured offices. We see how they pull at their offices. All of them things here to dent the credentials, the human rights credentials, the democratic credentials of a country. And it creates a volatile environment for any development for thrive.
So with all of this being said, we now get too much time again at the studio. You've been start the discussion with commending the initiative where the organizers then do for let the president really come out to the public and take up accountability for talk to people as to how in things they don't able for run this administration inside the past 3 years. With that backdrop, the way you able for commend them for the initiative we then do. Now moving forward, what are some of the lessons where civil society, where now citizens advocacy network, what are the lessons the way una want the organizers land where something and go do better in other edition where something and go plan for do?
The organizers of the
whole session where happened, the media rounds of the president and serve to the town hall meeting. Waiting there for land.
Yeah, well, firstly, I want to commend una journalists them, especially 98.1, for the kind of level of courage and professionalism. You be there now, of course. I see the president every time you say, please don't interrupt you while you're talking. This is the president where naturally people who have for feel too jittery for asking questions, but you are very comfortable, relaxing, posing the questions, the right questions. I believe say journalists, just like civil society, when we did in them positions here, so we for able represent the wishes and aspirations of the wider public. Not all man will able to sit here for talk on the issues the way they affect the country, the common man. But especially when we get the opportunity to get the first gentleman, we not opportunity they can so easily. The camera will get Thomas when tell I want to ask you. Then 10 the way for really give them the best of grilling we can think about. Some areas and the way you see some development, some progress need to be made, especially around asking the questions, the right questions, the intriguing questions. I see some houses then they will not be get the kind of questions that we really want to forget. Way for really put the president on his toes. Because again, the president is a servant of the people of this country. And that he should not be comfortable about waiting to happen. So when we ask our tough questions, grilling questions, sweat, when you go to our office, you know that the people of this country are really following. That officially beautiful. But I want to also thank and appreciate Sarah I. That was a very nice program we didn't do. And of course, Umo Fana did a very fantastic job. Himself go to a very large extent for able to ask certain questions where officially they actually resonate with the aspirations of the people.
Right.
So these are things we continue with and let we create the space and let the president and all other public officials and feel free for come out and talk. And then we will subject them to public scrutiny.
All right, thank you very much. Thomas Mokonte, Executive Director for Citizens Advocacy Network for Wicam the program. We can analyze President's bill, some of the things that were being said during the media rounds we do last week. And serve the town hall meeting where it be all for tell salon people some of the things them where it don't do for the past 3 years where it don't be president na salon. Thank you very much, Mr. Conte. We can the program.
Thank you very much.
Now they end the program. Good morning, Salon. And Alex Lawrence Koma and Michael Sambola and them produce the program. Moses Kavora and Usman Kamara and they make on watch we live now Facebook page. And DJ Lava give technical support. So all of Facebook viewer they want for say many thanks for they join the program every morning. Mina Khadija Bangura they say have a blessed week.
And Mabel Kavada say goodbye.
Yes, subscribe. You always dey watch we program them, but you not subscribe yet to the channel. All wetin you get for do, press this red subscribe button, and then you come over here and press this bell. To the bell option, press this one with all. E don done. E no get for cost you anything. When you do this, na sign for show say you dey support we for make we do more. Thank you for we don help we for share this program. Yeah, God bless you.